our traffic manager, who's up here this evening. And with me is Larry's friend, his antique Victrola, correct? And Larry, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this is a 1919 model. It was the most popular model sold in its day. It's a Model 11, the Victrola 11. It's a completely acoustic machine. They didn't have electricity to use back then for either playback or recording. All these records that I brought with me tonight were recorded without electricity, and they had an amazingly good sound to them.
You have a couple of extras with you, don't you, Larry?
Right.
This is really neat.
The flat 78 disc has been around since 1892. A guy by the name of Emil Berliner developed the flat disc. At that time, the Edison cylinder machines were getting pretty popular. And this is a record that goes back to about 1905. This is a Columbia record. The first ones were a 7-inch size, so this would represent really the beginnings of the industry. A lot of people associate the thick Edison record with one of the first, but Edison didn't come out with a disc until about 1912.
Oh my goodness.
So he ran from about 1912 to 1929. And
so Columbia was actually ahead of Edison?
Well, actually, the first would be Victor.
Oh, Victor, okay.
Berliner sold his company to one of his developing engineers, Eldridge Johnson, and he started the Victor Company in 1901.
So you may be wondering, what does all of this have to do with Main Street Memories? Well, when Larry purchased this Victrola, inside, and I don't know if we can get it, we'll try, is the brush or the little velvet thing that cleans your record off, and it says Victrolas and Records Block and Cool Company, the Big White Store, Peoria, Illinois. So we're pretty sure, right, Larry, that this Victrola was originally purchased at the Block and Cool Company right here in central Illinois, right here in Peoria. So, and Larry's up here during this membership drive to kind of demonstrate this for us, and also to encourage you to become a member of Channel 47. Won't you go to the phone and do that right now? So right now, before we go back to the program, I'm going to ask Larry to crank up the Victrola, and we're going to play a little bit of the Smiles. And this is music to pledge by, and you can kind of smile when you hear it, and smile when you go back to watch the program. But do go to the phone, 677-4747 or 1-800-837-4747, and become a member. You ready, Larry?
All ready.
Okay, let's go. I'm back over here in what we're kind of calling our how-to demonstration area with Larry Ware, our traffic manager here at the station. He puts together all the logs that list what times all the programs are on and what time they're supposed to hit. And Larry is the proud new owner, correct, Larry?
Yeah, about 3 weeks now.
Great, of a Victor Victrola. And I'm going to let Larry talk a little bit about this. This just absolutely fascinates me, so take it away, Larry.
Well, the Victrola plays the 78 discs. Now, the 78 RPM was not standard until 1924. So this has a speed control that will adjust it anywhere from 70 to 80. These records would be recorded at back anywhere from the time they first came out until about 1924. And then in 1925, another improvement came along. They started recording them electrically. And when they recorded them electrically, they could record larger orchestras, they could microphone them, and of course the sound would be a little more natural. Along with this improvement, Victor came out with what they call the orthophonic Victrola, and this was a unit that had the whole bottom area here, where this stores records, was the horn. And it was a folded horn, mathematically configured, and it would be the equivalent of a 6-foot horn. So there weren't very many of them made because they went out of business in 1929 with the stock market crash. And then RCA bought out Victor at that time and became RCA Victor. So this machine, all this simply does is it vibrates the needle back and forth, which then hits against a mica diaphragm, and that simply goes through. This is just tubing right here that goes down to this, which is the horn.
And it comes out here,
and it's really the horn that amplifies it. And that's all there is to it. And then
is great.
There's a spring-wound clock mechanism inside there that keeps the platter going at a constant speed with a governor on it.
Oh, wow. I kind of like the little speed control there. And you're probably wondering, once again, what does this have to do with Main Street Memories? Well, Larry feels pretty sure that the original owner of this Victor Victrola Bought it at Block and Cool in Peoria, the big white store, because the brush for the records says Victrolas and Records, Block and Cool Company, the big white store, Peoria, Illinois. So just another little piece of Peoria history and nostalgia that many of us maybe didn't know anything about. I certainly didn't until Larry called and said, hey, I've got this great Victor Victrola at home, and would you like to have it up in the studio? And we said, yes, we would. So now that our music lesson, our Victrola lesson is over for the evening, I'm going to have Larry crank it up here real quick just for a few seconds before we go to Becky, and we'll hear what this sounds like. And call in your membership pledge while you're listening to a little bit of music.
This is the Paul Whiteman Orchestra, and Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey got their start with Paul Whiteman. He was very popular in the teens and 20s, and even on into the 30s, of course.
There you go, some more history, folks.
Wistful and Blue.
Hearing a little music tonight. You can almost hear Al Jolson singing in the background or something. Thanks to Larry for sharing that with us tonight. A little history lesson here on Channel 47.